Hi guys, welcome to Screencast Sports Psychology on groups and teams. So your new topic is the effect of being in a group on performance or a team. Two objectives we're going to focus on in tonight's screencast and for tomorrow's lessons. This one very short. What is the nature of a group? What makes a group or a group? So there's certain characteristics that underpin the definition of a group. Then we're going to have a look at Steiners' model of group performance. This basically is a model, very simple model, that outlines group effectiveness. So, starting off then. Quickly, you do not have to make a note of this. It's just definition of a group. Social aggregates involve mutual awareness and potential interaction. Kind of gives us a little bit of info on what a group would be. So, key natures of a group. A group must have two or more people. Second thing, there must be mutual awareness, e.g. people in the group must be aware that they are part of that group in order for it to be a group. Interaction is another part of it, and finally there must be, which isn't on here, a common goal. So four natures of a group never really come up, but it is stuff you can write about if it's a 20-mark question, which it has been before. Okay, so what is the theory behind groups and group productivity there? Well, the first one is a model, and the model is called Steiners' model of group performance or productivity. So as it says on here, it devised an equation basically to summarise, why groups do not perform to their full potential. And what that means basically is you've got here, I've kind of abbreviated there, this is the model. What does it mean? It's basically saying, so I'll read it, obviously I know you can read, but I'll just go through it and then I'll put it into the sport terms there. It says actual productivity, e.g. the performance of a team, equals the potential productivity, translated to the maximum potential performance, minus losses due to faulty processes within the group. So what does that mean? It basically means that when you play in a game as a group, so it could be in anything, it could be in a business, but certainly we're concerned with sport. When a team play in a game, they perform in a certain way. When they perform, it might perform well, it might perform badly. When they perform, what happens is that performance basically is equal to the maximum that each performer could do. So if I was trying to put it into a situation where, I don't know, in a relay, the personal best, say it was a 4x100 metre relay, each of those individual performers has a kind of, 10.5 second 100 metre time on their own. Okay, so their potential, so the maximum they could do is a 10.5 times 4, which would lead you to 42 seconds. So you go on to that and you start to think, right, that is their potential, that's the maximum they could do. However, and the big however here, is that sports teams do not perform at their maximum all the time. And the reason why is that they have these faulty processes within a team. Now, these are basically kind of split in this model. So if I said to you what's coming up at the moment, the exam question would be, Steiner proposed a model of group productivity or group performance, and it is actual productivity equals potential productivity minus losses due to faulty processes. Then what you need to be able to do is, one, put it into kind of your own words or translate it. But the key thing is, you look at kind of, let's be honest, it could be England football team, England rugby team, particularly at the moment, have been performing very, very poorly for not the rugby team so much, but football certainly for years in elite tournaments. But their potential is really high. You've got or certainly we did 5, 6, 10 years ago, you had players who were really kind of highly sought after, but there were always faults or losses due to faulty processes. These are split, and the key exam questions you're going to get are these faulty processes, and they're split into two categories. So the two categories are motivational faults and coordination faults. So what does that mean? So on here, motivation losses or motivation faults that stop a team being at their maximum potential are basically termed social loafing. So when you lose motivation, and it's kind of defined here, social loafing refers to a lack of personal responsibility when an individual decreases effort in a team environment. So what that means, when you're in a team, certain individuals may not work as hard because of them being in a team. Now straight away, because people when they're in a group think, I don't have to work as hard, that then lowers the performance of the whole team. So the actual productivity isn't very good. Their performance suffers because of it. So that's one reason. So you all, every single person, not only has been seeing this happen, they've probably all also been responsible for doing it. When you're in a team, you're not quite up for it. Basically, you don't bother running as much. That is called social loafing, and the technical definition which you'll need is this. So that is one of the faults that stops you from having your potential productivity. The other side of it is in a team, because there are lots of people that are involved in a team, that there is also something called coordination losses, and this basically means that you have coordination errors. So your team isn't coordinated quite right, and what this basically is referred to, so it could be like coordination in terms of positioning. So for example, on a line out, one player in the line out in rugby is in the wrong position, they're too far forward, they run too quick. That coordination has a massive effect on the potential productivity of the team. So you look at it in the relay I talked about, 4 times 100 metres. So the coordination, e.g. the positioning of the baton when you're trying to pass it, too low, that slows people down, and then everyone's split time suffers as a result. And this has a name. It's called the Ringelmann effect. So basically this says the larger that the team is, the more time or the more chance you have of coordination losses or coordination errors, positioning, timing, all these things that kind of dictate good team performance. So, you kind of basically, what I need from you for homework is to understand that, Steiners' model proposes this, actual productivity, potential productivity minus losses due to faulty processes. What we need to understand then is the faulty processes are split into two. When they're motivational, there is a technical psychological term called social loafing. It basically means feeling lazy, whatever, okay, but that is what the definition is, where you lose personal responsibility. Then the other side, the other faulty process, is coordination. So this is known as the Ringelmann effect, and it refers to the larger the team, the more chance of coordination errors affecting or minimising team performance. So what we're going to have a look in the lesson, okay, is what causes people to be a social loafer. It's not as easy as saying they're lazy. Why are they lazy? And there's lots of reasons why this might be. Then we have to look at ways we can use to increase motivation. Secondly, we have a look at what is the reason for poor coordination in a team. Why can't they do a corner routine? Why can't they do a certain kind of performance? We'll look at why it happens, and then we'll look at ways that you can use to try and improve coordination, therefore team performance. Okay, thank you.